One live.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to Center for Conscious Kids, Conscious Living podcast series. We're here live in the Specially Produce Network studio podcasting booth. And I'm here live with Kate Vaughn. Welcome, Kate.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad to see you again. It's so wonderful to podcast with you.
Thank you for having me, Ashley.
Oh, you are welcome. Well, what are we going to talk about today? Because I thought your idea about creating balance in our world in relation to food was just an amazing topic.
Thank you. I believe it's really the fundamentals for all of our lifestyle diet choices,
Yes.
day to day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
And every choice really matters. And so it's really good to look at how we are actually balancing out our food choices.
Yes.
And not making our food choices about what's occurring in our life.
Yes.
Making it about nourishment.
Yes. And helping our body feel good too, and getting in. We did a podcast earlier about the consciousness of food and what did the energy of that food actually do for us, and what does that feel like. So I agree with you that creating balance is so vital.
It is. It is. And oftentimes our lifestyles, especially here in America, we have a lot of priorities that oftentimes don't involve ourself and our best health. And so we really have to take a look at lifestyle right now, especially with the demands growing for everybody's growth, personal growth and development, and business. We can get easily distracted. And especially if we have families and kids, it affects the whole household. It really does.
Absolutely. And when we get busy or our priorities move away from ourself, taking care of ourself, creating balance in our body and creating really healthy physical bodies, what does that mean? I mean, what does that look like? What do you see commonly in households that are strained to understand how to create that balance? What does that look like?
I would say mostly what it comes down to is sticking to those rituals, sticking to some sort of a pattern or a schedule around how we take care of ourselves.
Yes.
Because life will always adjust, and we need to make sure that life adjusts to what our, foundation is, rather than us adjusting to the chaos in life.
Right. Constantly being in triage mode.
Yeah, and most often we see breakfast gets missed, or physical fitness, and it's that priority. Get up and get your energy moving, get your good nutrition. It all comes down to sticking to those rituals.
Yeah.
And because energetically you're choosing you before you're choosing others, and when we choose ourselves,
Yes.
that is when we receive the benefits of leading a healthy, vitally rich life.
Absolutely.
And so what are those things? What do we build in the beginning of our day? How do we set our foundation? And oftentimes in our American culture, which I love, it's very rich in doing for others. And sometimes we just have to take a step back and realize, at what cost are we willing to do?
Absolutely. I even produced a podcast about that concept, talking about instead of having a dichotomy or a polarized viewpoint of service to self or service to others, what if we brought in service to us?
Mm-hmm.
And so in a family environment in the morning, how are we going to service us? What does that mean? How am I going to service as a mom to the kids? And then how am I going to service myself? And what does that look like? And how do we create that breakfast and that time, or that time to open up and stretch and move our bodies and get things going, other than just getting dressed and brushing our teeth?
Right. And oftentimes we have we have things that come up in our morning, especially where it's more urgent than other times. And
Right.
so even if it's choosing a topic, choosing what are we grateful for today,
Absolutely.
let's all just be super grateful for something in our life. Let's just start up with that open communication.
Right.
And so that creates the momentum of, how are we showing up today, regardless of what's going on? How can we communicate to our children? How can we communicate to our partners? What's bright in the day?
Absolutely.
What's positive? And then plant those seeds, because every word spoken is a seed that you are planting.
Right.
And when children are around, they are so sensitive to energy. So if you have something stressful going on
Right.
and you're not speaking seeds of positivity,
Right.
and they sense your energy is very heavy and stressed, that sets the tone for their day as well. Whereas we
Absolutely.
can say, you know, what's one thing we're going to do today to really create more greatness or more happiness? And then hear the kids' conversations.
Right.
Because that ultimately will raise the vibration
Yep.
and not only will set up their day for success out in the world, but it will set up our values of what matters most,
Right.
not letting life take us down.
Right. Or take over us, or
Take over.
move in an automatic pattern, and we're just robots running around
Well,
getting the things done we feel we have to do.
exactly. And we are all energy. Everything is energy. And you're an energy healer. So you understand I have energy snack bars. You know, it's
Which are amazing.
thank you. You know, it's all about the energy that we're receiving, but also the energy that we're giving.
Yes.
And I believe if our food choices are energetically at a higher vibration,
Right.
we are then able to go out into the public, into the world, into our business, and have a positive influence
Yes.
energetically
Yes.
towards others.
And it's
that is
huge.
ultimate love.
Yes, it is.
You know, it's that is what it is.
Right.
And so it's very abundant because there is no shortage of love.
No, there's no shortage of love.
Or energy.
That's right.
Don't think for a minute that we're short on energy. There's
We're
a
not.
lot of energy.
There's a ton of it. There's a ton of it. And you were talking too about the idea of when we're creating balance, we're creating an inner Feng Shui, right? What does that mean? I love that idea. Like, I don't even thought, even from a nursing perspective or a medical perspective, what that means in creating an inner Feng Shui. Like, how would I like my liver to feel today? How would I like my stomach? How would it be positioned in my body, right? Because a lot of times when we have upset, right, our stomach is up above in our diaphragm called a hiatal hernia, right? Or other kinds of, or our ileocecal valve is turning the other way or closed. We have lots of stressors that create inner chaos more than inner Feng Shui.
Exactly.
And what does that mean to you? What does that look like? What could people imagine and share with their kids about creating that inner balance?
Well, that's a really great question. I feel that kids, because they're so receptive to practical body movement, that's probably one of the quickest ways to explain is by getting them into their body. And it
Right.
can be as simple as jumping jacks with breath, you know, in
Yes.
through the nose twice, out through the mouth twice. You could do that for, you know, a few breaths while doing jumping jacks.
Right.
Kids like to move, they like games, they
Right.
like to get in their body,
Right.
and they're very receptive. So we can look at the inner feng shui as how do we feel in the space around us is so important. Is it chaotic? Is it cluttered? Is there stuff everywhere?
Right.
Because people oftentimes thrive off of a mess.
Right.
But then you look at a mess in their house, then you look at a mess in their life. It's a mirror image.
Right.
When things are in order,
Right.
it creates an energy
Right.
that's more sound.
Right.
And so the inner feng shui is a way, how can we create that same internal harmony
Right.
by our breath work,
Right.
by doing a few jumping jacks,
Right.
by drinking lemon water when you wake up,
Right.
or by a healthy conversation, or working through a problem that you thought couldn't be solved, or even the simplest thing of making your bed.
Right.
Nobody else needs to make anybody's bed in the morning.
Right.
The bed, you get out of bed, and if you can do that one thing, it will set the inner feng shui for your entire day.
Right.
So if we can just look at making the bed in the morning,
Right.
before we even get to the kitchen, before we set the table, before we nourish our body,
Right.
the inner feng shui is how are we treating our external environment
Yeah.
and how that influences our internal environment.
Exactly.
So feng shui is very important to look at what can we do on a regular basis that promotes that energy. And that energy coming into us internally affects our cellular health.
It sure does.
So when your kids don't want to do something, we can speak to them about the cells in their body.
Right.
And how the cells, we are actually doing something for the cellular health of their body.
Right.
Or for the good bugs or for the bad bugs.
Right.
Do we want to feed our good bugs right now or do we want to feed our bad bugs?
Right.
That's also inner feng shui.
Yeah.
So our choices are so important, and they come to the basis of how we are in the world when we begin to realize and commit to the fact that our choices are an energetic transfer.
Absolutely.
And it will directly coordinate how we are on the outside to our living existence internally.
Yes.
It matters. Our choices matter. Kate's choice, it's
Yes.
every choice.
Yes.
And we then can consciously choose when we want ice cream made out of cow's milk
Right.
and cane sugar.
Right.
And we don't have to feel guilty about it.
Right.
If you choose ice cream, the last thing you should think about is guilt.
Right.
Because then you're associating ice cream with guilt, which is an energy that will store in your body and later on affect your inner feng shui.
Right.
You tell your body, I am going to have ice cream and this is going to be delicious and I'm going to thrive from my cow's milk cane sugar ice cream indulgence.
Exactly.
That is how we eat ice cream.
Right.
So choices are very important for inner feng shui, and the choices that we create are positively affecting our body or negatively affecting our body.
That's absolutely true.
And as we increase the integrity of our life, as we increase the integrity of business here in America, and as we increase the integrity of our conversations with every single person in our life, that is when we begin to really accept the reality that we have access to inner feng shui and we don't need to lead a life of suffering,
That's
a
correct.
life of illness,
That's correct.
a life of runny noses and Advil for every bruise and broken bone.
Right.
Because we have a sense that no matter what occurs on the outside, we are now matching an
Right.
internal harmony.
Right.
Is that a really long explanation?
That is an awesome explanation. You have my utter attention. It was amazing.
Yeah, inner feng shui is a new it's definitely what I would call a hit, a hit
Yeah.
of inspiration that has been more recent in my dialogue.
I really like it. It's it's really amazing, and it doesn't have to be super woo woo crazy off, overly high ended conversation. It's very simple.
It's very simple.
It's very easy, and it's a very easy understanding. I don't think that I think many people look at their external environment and say that that's a reflection of my internal body, but you brought it to another level. And when we bring it to that next level is, okay, how do I really want my organs to function? How do I want my brain to function? How do I want my eyes, my mouth, my teeth, my muscles, my bones? How do I want them to function inside my body? And what I think about, what choices I choose, make a difference.
Absolutely.
And I don't think that people have really brought it maybe to that level of connection.
Right.
I mean,
understand.
Really?
Yeah. Well, and also a
mean,
really basic way to start is by remembering that, first of all, none of us are perfect, and it's not about perfection.
Right.
It's about becoming an awake, enlightened person. We are living in the age of enlightenment.
Yes.
Everything is changing. We have a president who has forced us to feel really uncomfortable circumstances in life.
Right.
And that's okay.
Right.
That's perfect, because without that, we are not able to walk through truth.
Right.
So we're going through a phase of walking through truth. And in order to walk through truth, we have to be okay and choose what's so.
Right.
So you might have a really messy life, and this might be an uncomfortable topic to hear about. The most important thing we need to do is to remember that wherever we're at right now
Right.
is perfect. We are at the place that is so real and in tune with our nature of how we've been existing. It's just in order to move to the next level of
Right.
clarity and abundance and forgiveness and joy and harmony internally, we have to choose what so.
Right.
We have to choose whether it's a toxic relationship, whether you're in,
Right.
whether it's a way you behave around your children, with your partner, how messy your home is,
Right.
or that you don't like the president. Unfortunately, we have to choose all of those things.
Yes, we do.
Because in order to transfer the energy into a higher level of vibration to receive a new result and internal harmony, we have to actually choose what's so.
Exactly.
Because whatever we resist persists.
Exactly.
So our anger and dysfunction is not going to disappear.
Right.
It's going to grow. So in order to energetically create soundness within us and
Yeah.
internal harmony,
Yes.
we need to plug in rituals.
Yes, we
We
do.
need to plug in healthy snacks, good food, positive conversations, energy work,
Right.
massage. I mean, when
Right.
was the last time you got a foot massage?
Yesterday.
Good. I'll talk to you guys. When was the last time you got a foot massage?
Exactly.
Take more time, and that's what we need to, help everyone. Every single human is going through transformation. So some of us make it look more fun than others,
Yeah.
but it's not. I mean, it's all what we make of every moment.
It's true.
I mean, this is no joy ride.
No.
This is a very intense time of energetic enlightenment where our culture is shifting.
Right. And we're shifting our old beliefs, like how we eat ice cream, for example.
Yeah, and how we make it bad.
Versus just instead of buying the low vibration ice cream, we're buying the higher vibration ice cream and thinking that's better, but we never really got rid of the guilt.
We never got rid of the guilt. And the thing
Right.
is, we cannot bring our guilt with us.
Right.
The guilt
We can't.
stays in the old world.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
I call it the old energies and the new energies, but yes, it is the old world. And
It is.
so it doesn't really raise our vibration to buy the better cow's milk, sugar, ice cream.
No.
We have to get rid of the guilt.
Mm.
We have to get rid of the idea of what it is or isn't going to do to our bodies.
And one other thing, especially because we're so focused on children here, I don't want to
Yes.
forget your culture of kids. Kids are so important, and kids are also so sensitive and so much more awake than adults.
They are right now.
So moving into a plant-based diet, moving into more non-dairy,
Right.
gluten-free, kids want that.
They want that.
Oftentimes, I will come into a home with certain meals, everything is set up where kids have to have their mac and cheese, or they have to have a burger, or they
Or
have
the cupcakes at birthday parties.
Exactly, but what I honestly see more and more are the kids actually don't want that. They want the plain pasta with olive oil.
Exactly.
They're not choosing animal. They're not choosing a lot of dairy. So we need to look at that and be honest with it and know that these kids they're not sensing a calling towards that, and there's a reason for it. And we have a lot of products, especially locally here in Southern California.
Yes.
If you want a cheese alternative, there are a variety
And
of
it doesn't have to
options.
be the plastic fake cheese either.
And it oftentimes isn't. And so it's really important to ask our kids and to speak to them as if you were speaking to a friend. Would you like a super salad for dinner? Would you
Yes.
like, because I ate salads from 5 years old.
I did too. I
I
loved it.
wasn't forced to eat meat or dairy.
Right.
And I grew up in a traditional family in Wisconsin, so.
I know. I just have to share that I had a child come in. He's about 9, and he came in and he wanted his allergies cleared. And I said, okay, we'll clear them. And he said, well, I really don't. I really enjoy having these allergies so I don't have to eat junk food. And I said, so can we have a conversation about that? And he said, sure. And I said, well, how about we clear the allergies and then you just choose not to have the junk food? What if you could do that? What if it was okay to tell your friends that I just choose to eat healthier? And he said, well, I'll have to think about that. Right? So he's learning how to speak his truth and to speak
Right.
what he really does want to have.
Mm-hmm.
And he was asking me, he said, I would like my uncle to have allergies so he could have a better choice of his food. And I said, well, we don't kind of do that, but you could actually show him on science experiments how the bugs in the varmint, maybe in the garage, really won't eat the junk food. They'll eat real food. So you could show your uncle that way that it might be healthier to eat real food.
Totally. And ultimately, health in America has not been the highlight.
Right.
Health in America has not been the popular choice.
Yes.
And because we are so driven by media and how we're supposed to show up in the world and how we're supposed to look and feel and what the white picket fence looks like in the car and the kids and the dogs,
Right.
we actually forgot that health is the fundamental place to look at our life, to look at our diet. It's not about fast food.
Right.
So healthy food does taste delicious.
It tastes amazing.
Although, if you've bought into the American dream that we all have and that we are all a part of at some point in our life,
Yeah.
it's food that's fake. It's food with chemicals, and it's
Right.
food that has corn syrup and affects our brain balance. So
It
in order
completely
to
does.
switch to the healthy food, we have to give ourselves the grace period. We have to allow ourselves to make slow adjustments.
Absolutely. I completely agree with the whole weaning concept is just slowly start moving them out. It's amazing, though. It only takes 3 to maybe 7 days
21 days to
to
change the taste buds.
yeah, and sometimes it's even less than that.
Sometimes.
It's amazing.
If your brain and your lifestyle is more happy and joyful, it's easier to make the food choices.
Yes.
Because oftentimes there's something going on in our world that we eat for stress
Yes.
or there's an emotional issue.
Yeah.
And so these types of foods are calling your name.
Right.
But when we begin to address lifestyle and we improve lifestyle, and then we address how we are experiencing our relationship to food,
Right.
healthy food is actually the most nourishing experience for your health, for your cellular health, and also energetically.
Absolutely.
You know, I meditate twice a day, and I feel like that's a big part of how I balance out the intensity of the real world, because business is not
Right.
built for happy, beautiful women that are powerful. And that's exactly who I am.
That's right.
Yeah, so can't stop, won't stop.
That's right.
And I think meditation is a big part of how we can just sit. You know, people ask me all the time, how do you meditate?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like, there is no trick to sitting with your eyes closed.
No, you can even do it with your eyes open.
You know, sit in the dark.
Yeah.
Sit down, have a moment, teach your kids, don't give your kids a timeout.
Right.
Who needs timeouts? As a kid, I had timeouts, and I would create masterpieces of artwork, and
Right.
I would do all sorts of interesting things during time out
Right.
because I know how to use my time wisely. So if we make our children more aware that energetically, if they're having a hard time, life seems challenging, they're having tantrums, they're not happy,
Right.
we can always give them the opportunity. Hey, how about meditation?
Absolutely.
Because I teach kids how to meditate.
Yeah.
I'm in the culture where I know that kids are conscious and kids are our future.
Right.
So it is our responsibility as adults to then guide the way. If you don't
Absolutely.
meditate, that's okay. But remember that in order to really thrive in today's day and age,
Yes.
and to be powerful and to be successful and to show up with a smile on your face,
Yeah, a real one.
a real smile,
Yeah.
it takes a lot of inner feng shui. And in order to get there, meditation, good food, daily rituals, happy conversations, because life will always exist and we can't avoid obstacles.
And knowing that you have a choice.
You have a choice and you just ride the waves,
Yeah. It's really true.
in every way, energetic waves.
I love them. And it's amazing the synchronicity that comes into when we surrender to our attachments to outcomes. We can set an intention and say, I would like this outcome to happen. And then I let go of how that is to come to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because I try to explain it to people is that the universe is busy. If you want and you come from an idea of service to us where you get benefit, I get benefit, we all get benefit, well, that keeps the universe kind of busy and kind of putting all the little pieces together so that everyone comes out with that intention in mind.
Right.
Is even more powerful.
Right.
Yeah.
And oftentimes we are so trained to look at a physical, tangible outcome.
Yes.
We want it to look a certain way
Yes.
because we're very focused on the looks
Right.
So when we begin to look inside, if we were to put ourselves 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, energetically, how would our life feel
Right.
when we were living in that house or
Right.
driving that car or maybe having 2 kids?
Right.
Would it be stress? Would it be this? Would it be that? Sometimes we just have to get back to the simplicity of the energy that we would like to feel within us
Correct.
and then allow everything else in life, including people, to
Yes.
dissolve. And
Absolutely.
then you have a space. You have a space for peace. You have a space for joy,
And rejuvenation.
rejuvenation. It all works together.
Yes.
But oftentimes it can't be so tangible as like I'll be wearing these sunglasses or I'll have this snack bar company. It's
Right.
because energetically I knew I wanted to offer value to a society.
Right.
People say, you have a snack bar company. Well, I guess so. But the goal was to offer value.
Right.
And I didn't know how that value would be offered,
Right.
but I trusted in the steps along the way.
Right.
And when we do that, and when we commit to receiving messages and actually having faith and taking risk and doing things we've never done.
And that trust and that before, because
Yeah.
we are living, walking creations.
Mm-hmm.
We are the proof we're looking for.
Absolutely.
We just haven't maybe manifested that particular outcome in the moment.
Right.
And we're on the way.
We're always on the way.
Yes.
We are on the way. Da, 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 da. I feel like we could do a great dance to that.
Right. It's a journey. It's not a destination.
It's a journey. And, it's like, how long do you want to live in your journey of pain?
Right.
I'm dealing with so many conversations right now where whether it's your addiction in life, whether it's a toxic relationship, you might be in that for the next 10 years. And that's up to everyone to
Involved.
choose that.
Right.
Although, if you want to evolve with the age of enlightenment that we're going through right
Exactly.
now,
Exactly.
you have the opportunity to be supported
Mm-hmm.
by the greater power, by the source, to move through life and to not take those challenges and make them your end-all experience. And we all face challenges.
Right.
It's just, how deep do we want to go?
Exactly.
How many years do we want to spend?
I love it when I get a little problem or thing that I go, that's a resistance, or that's an issue I can't wait to move through, and I get excited that they come up now instead of like fearful or upset that they've come up, or oh my God, I have something else to take care of. Instead of that, it's like, wow, okay, this has presented itself. I'm going to take care of it. I'm committed to it.
Right.
And I want to make that shift because I know on the other side of that is freedom and emancipation from this continual problem.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's spoken like a real wisdom keeper.
Oh, yeah.
It's true.
I think we all get to be one, and that's
We
what's so
do
amazing.
if we choose it.
Yes.
I would never want to push that on anybody's plate because it's a huge responsibility. It really is. And I don't expect the world to want to choose that because you have to then take every single detail and every single pain body experience that comes up
Right.
and look at it and ascend it. So it's
Right.
a life of ascension
Yeah.
spiritually, which
Or just opening, right? Us being ourselves.
yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
a layer of being yourself, and then it's a layer of looking into life with a more spiritually guided
Right.
path, which oftentimes our pain body, because we're
Yeah,
humans,
right.
whether we sound like it or not. I'm really not from Mars. We are human, so we all have to show up as human. But once you gain more spiritual awareness,
Absolutely.
that's when you have the opportunity to transcend and look
Right.
at all of these problems in your life as miracles.
Right.
And children understand this.
They sure do.
Children do not need to be convinced that a tough situation is actually a blessing.
Yeah.
Because if they're not getting along with a friend, maybe that friend is the very friend they don't really need.
Right.
Maybe
right.
that friend is causing them to eat Cheetos for, a bag of Cheetos because they're
Right.
so stressed out about that one friend,
Right.
you know?
Exactly.
So if we help inspire our young people, that will help the future, because the future is the young kids,
It's really true.
and we need to be able to nourish their body, mind, and souls as responsible adults, whether you have spirituality in your practice or not. It's
Yeah.
really a duty.
Right.
And yeah, it's very exciting.
I know.
Thank you for sharing everything. Like
Oh,
I love our
you
conversations.
too. And would love to leave everybody with the idea of what would you like to create in your inner feng shui? Right? What does that mean to you? Where would you like to take that first step in creating that for yourself? I mean, I'm doing it in lots of different ways, including the physical body in very, very deeper, much deeper ways that I never thought I could even venture down. And but looking at just feeling good in your body and feeling, even though you may feel sensitive to energies and sensitive to other people's feelings and thoughts, that you can be comfortable with that and be okay with that in the
Hmm.
world. And what does that mean? And that's sort of my journey. What is your journey and your inner feng shui at this time?
Wow, that's a big question.
It can be.
I'll make it a very quick answer. My inner feng shui is relating to life with unconditional love right now.
That's beautiful. That is a big one.
That's it. I
Yeah.
mean, there is nothing more to say.
Yeah. I really love that. And gosh, that can be um, examined, looked at, and expressed in so many ways. I mean, probably every breath you take. Right?
Yes.
It's beautiful. Well, I would love to invite everyone who's listening to this podcast, either live or recorded, to really take a look at that and what would you like to do with that. And then think about your kids, because every child has comes in with a different temperament, a different idea, different gifts, different energies and expressions to bring to the world. What do each one of them, how did they want to express their inner feng shui? How did they want to know what to do to support their bodies and to feel comfortable and amazing and energetic in their bodies?
That's beautiful.
Thank you
It's true.
too.
Yeah. The children, we need to treat our children like they are the solution to the real American dream that we
Yeah.
all are moving back to,
Yes,
you know?
exactly.
And so it's a journey of joy
Yeah.
and possibility, and the
It's
children are the chosen ones, you know?
yeah, it's
We're
awesome.
bringing back the real American
I
dream.
know, it's amazing. Well, thank you for joining us today. And we wanted to take just a moment to share with everyone the opportunity to talk about your newest initiatives, your newest journey.
Thank you.
Share with us what that might be.
Well, I'm so grateful for you for bringing that up. And so, right now, Kate's Choice brand, which definitely started out as a snack bar company with raw, vegan, organic, kosher, sprouted snack bars in three delicious flavors.
And I really, I've tried them.
Kid
They are
approved.
absolutely off the hook.
Oh, thank you.
They really
Well, they
are.
are. And it takes a team and lots of amazing people in my life to build, build
Yeah.
with. And the people that I work with are incredible and have very high standards in the organic food industry. So, 100% organic ingredients is something that is very difficult to do, and I have managed to figure out every little detail to getting to that point. But also, part of Kate's Choice Eat Happy Food is the educational platform, which I'm working towards developing, as well as keeping this brand going with the highest level of integrity. And I started a campaign to raise $50,000 to get that side of the educational platform off the ground while maintaining the demands for the snack bars, because we're now in Jimbos, we're moving into all the grocery stores in Southern
Wow.
California, and then the online distribution will be happening simultaneously. So, in order to, slowly grow this and with the highest level of integrity without
Yeah.
outside investors at this point, I
Yeah.
started a campaign. So I'm so excited about it. And it's very simple. When, 100 people donate $500, the goal is met.
Right.
So if we have the opposite, 500 people donate $100, that also is,
Creates your goal.
it creates the goal.
Yeah.
It's a very simple goal, but it takes others to want to participate
Yes.
who understand that there is a need in our culture not only for plant-based snacks for on the go, but also for the education, because that's what I love to do is cook and educate. And after
Yeah.
working with the Food Network and doing shows with the Food Network, I realized how much fun we can have on camera and also be able to educate at the same time
Absolutely.
about holistic nutrition. So if you're interested in supporting this campaign, if you've enjoyed the content of what we've shared, I would love if you could support energetically, comment, email. The links are on my page, Kate Vaughn, on my website, and as well as Ashley Lee. I'm sure
Yes.
you will see
Yes.
through both of those links.
And on Center for Conscious Kids as well. You'll see it posted there as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Kate's Choice Happy Food is the Instagram, and you can go there to check that out right now. And the campaign is up and running. So there's the website. And I just really appreciate the support and the dedication to fellow Americans who believe that in order to create positive change on the planet, we have to help one another and activate more projects that are not just about selling a product, that is actually about educating so that we can all move with ease and grace
Yes.
into a phase of our life that none of us really know how to move into.
Yes. And create that value to the community.
Yeah, I mean, most people do not have a nutritional education.
No.
Or energetic education.
Right. And even in medical schools, a lot of the doctors are even asking for, they get 45 minutes of nutrition.
It's true. And doctors call me and say, we don't know what to do.
Right.
Would you add value to our practice? Could you educate? It's sure I can, but then what do we do with the rest of the world?
Right.
So if we can do more education through media.
Right.
And spread the word through being on camera, that is the whole intention behind the brand, and I think that's.
So can you share with us just for a minute about what the initiative of what is the educational platform you're thinking of creating? Where are you going with that?
So the educational platform is basically what I've been doing for the past 10 years in private homes. So I have been working for, very, very affluent families and living in remote locations while looking at the diet, looking at lifestyle. How are the kids' behavior issues? Are we dealing with ADHD?
Right.
Basically, putting kids through my rituals and different programs of diet and lifestyle.
Right.
We change all of that from the home. It all starts with the home. And so my brand is a home-based brand because that's where my experience is within. But
yeah.
Pantry purge,
right.
how to read labels, how to not follow a specific trend, because there's a lot of trends in diets, to actually see what works for your family,
right?
What works, how to slowly transition off of meat into plant-based, because we don't want to get rid of any food. We want to add.
Right.
Every home I've ever been in, we add before we take away.
Right.
And showing you what's possible.
Right.
Showing kids what's possible. Having super shake breakfasts,
right.
Having super salads, making things in advance. It's all about prep.
You're right.
We have very busy lifestyles here in America. So these cooking shows and lifestyle tutorials basically are going to be everything that I've done in private homes,
awesome,
applied to the general public so that everybody has access to these tools and information that I would normally charge top dollar to do privately.
Right. And so getting it out to that larger audience.
Yeah, because everybody deserves this knowledge.
Everybody
I
does.
have nutritional, training, that is my background, but also with the experience of being in these homes, what works and what doesn't.
Yes.
When your kids start eating meatless meatballs with pasta and parsley pesto and all the different layers of education, I stick to tradition as much as I can, but I do it in a healthier, more delicious way so that its focus is plant-based.
I see.
So that we can have lasagna.
Yeah.
Who said we couldn't have lasagna? I eat lasagna, and it's the best lasagna. It's just dairy-free, gluten-free, and totally 100% plant-based.
That sounds delicious.
So that's what I will teach, and that's what Americans need right now is
Yes.
what do we add? Keep doing whatever you're doing, but we need to make changes, add them, and do it in a fun way.
Right.
You know, it's not a boring cooking show. It's more
Right.
about having like the joy and the experience of come into my kitchen, let me show you how I do plant-based and how practical it is, and also why your kids will love it. And
Right.
the kinds of conversations I have with children, it's not about adding new food
Right.
and it's not about some weird hippy dippy thing.
Right.
It is a choice that will create more balance in the body, more energy, and ultimately they will be successful in life because of it.
Absolutely. Wow.
There
Thank
we
you for,
go.
there we go. Thank you for sharing. That's Chef Kate Vaughn
Thank you.
explaining her and sharing with us her amazing journey and her initiatives on supporting the whole world, choosing healthy lifestyles, creating balance, and creating that inner feng shui. I love it.
Eat happy food.
Woohoo! Eat happy food. Thank you all.